To most, Idaho Springs is nothing more than a tiny town on the way to the mountains. But in reality, Idaho Springs is the town that started the famous Colorado Gold Rush. On a cold January day in 1859, George Andrew Jackson found the first gold nugget buried beneath the frozen land. And it wasn't long until Idaho Springs exploded with miners looking to strike it rich. It's where Marjorie Bell and generations of her family lived.
The people mean a lot to me that are here, and the whole town has.
When road crews built I-70 in the late 50s, a third of the town disappeared. Now residents from Idaho Springs to Georgetown fear the same is about to happen again.
We've worked very hard to bring that back, and now we don't want to see it lost again.
Every Denver area skier knows the problem.
Saturday mornings, it's bumper-to-bumper traffic. Sunday nights, same thing on the way back down.
The people along the corridor want some form of public transportation to alleviate the problem. A monorail is one suggestion, but right now, expanding I-70 is the state's top choice.
We studied a number of train-type alternatives and found that right now the numbers don't correlate with being able to provide something like that. The reality is we can't sit here and think, we hope someday money's going to be there. We've got to do something now. And we're doing what we can with the available funding resources that we can.
I saw a quote the other day that really reminded me of the issues here, and it was, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And I think that we can achieve something more than just more lanes. It's the same old solution.
That's why the people who live in these small towns want something else, something other than what they call a short-term solution.
You just put a couple more lanes on there, and what you have is you have a lot more lanes to back up.
CDOT is working with these historic communities. In fact, they have to. It's called Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act. Every federal agency must take into account how their projects affect historic properties. It's a tricky solution when you have to take into account everyone from Denver to Grand Junction.
There's not a one-size-fits-all, unfortunately, and that's what we're trying to do, is just come up with the best possible solution with all of that feedback taken into consideration.
Still, the plans are not yet set in these mountain stones, so the fight continues.
It is an uphill fight, but it's a fight worth having.
But if they're not successful, it could mean the end to some of the history in these Colorado towns, and then generations of people who live there.
I would be very, very unhappy and may not stay.